नमस्कार. गोमंतकाच्या खाशेल्या कार्यावळीन तुमच्या सगळ्यांचे स्वागत. आज आमच्याबरोबर स्टुडिओन आसात सायबर सिक्युरिटी कॉर्पोरेशनाचे प्रेसिडेंट आणि इंटेलिजंट कोशंट सिक्युरिटी सिस्टमाचे CEO डॉक्टर हेरोल्ड डिकोस्टा. तुमकां येवकार. डॉक्टर हेरोल्ड डिकोस्टा हे सायबर सिक्युरिटी क्षेत्रांत एक नामनेचें नांव जावन आसा. He has worked with all stratas of law enforcement, training them, assisting them, teaching them, and even designing curriculum for them. He has worked a lot in the corporate sectors also, and he has assisted government in evading cyber terrorism attacks and cyber crime threats. Eminent CIO of India वो एक भौगोलिक पुरस्कार सेगीत 5 वर्सां डॉक्टर हेरोल्ड डिकोस्टाक फावो जाला. सो आज आमी तांचे कडल्यान जाणून घेवयात सायबर क्रायम म्हणजे कितें आनी कशें ताका आमकां ताजे अगेन्स्ट आमी सेफगार्ड करप, आमी कशें शिटूक जावप ताजे अगेन्स्ट तें. सो टू स्टार्ट विथ Doctor, many people don't know what cyber crimes actually consist of. They say we don't use internet that much, we don't use computer, so we will never fall prey to cyber crimes. But that is not all cyber crimes, right?
See, the definition of cyber crime is when there is a misuse of technology to do any illegal activity. That illegal activity is termed as cyber crime. When you talk about cybercrime, people have the apprehension that they are using the digital technology for a good purpose. It is, but then there are many instances now, especially in the last 3 years, what we have seen, there's a gradient height of the cybercrime which have been increased exponentially, because people have been glued at home. There's a lot of work from home taking place. There were a lot of school children, college students who have been at home, glued to their technology, glued to their mobile phone. So many of them started using technology without knowing the nuances of it. So the cyber hygiene practices are not being followed, and that's the reason that many of the people today are becoming victims of cybercrime. But all said, it doesn't mean that you should not use technology, but use it with a pinch of security to be used to ensure that you don't get to be victimized.
Okay, so like you said, the banking transactions or the when people get duped on WhatsApp or Instagram, that all comes under cybercrime, right? But then people who are getting duped and who are doing this crime are not all located at one place. सो हाव जशें आतां पणजे एक चोरी जाली जाल्यार आमी पणजे पुलीस स्टेशनार वचून तक्रार बरयता. हाव डज दिस वर्क? वॉट इज द ज्युरिसडिक्शन ऑफ सायबर क्रायम्स?
See, the government of India has started a national portal, that is cybercrime.gov.in. So all those who are learned, can just log into this portal and lodge their complaint online. They need not go to the police station. Secondly, for those who are not learned or not so techno savvy, and if they have become a victim of cybercrime, then they can call upon that number 1930. Now this is a helpline number 24/7 into 365, where the complaint can be lodged verbally, the cognizance shall be taken, and wherever the person or the victim resides, the matter then will be shifted to that jurisdiction, and the concerned police station will call up the victim, record the statement, and take the matter forward for the investigation purpose.
Thank you very much. That is a very good information, because it always happens that we don't know where to file the complaint, and many people are not that tech savvy, like you said, ki तांकां वचून खंय करप कितें तें कळना. So this is the part where if something happens, पूण म्हाका दिसता prevention is always better than cure. Yeah. So how do we safeguard ourselves against all these cyber crimes that is happening, especially with the kids and the senior citizens, because it is easy for them to believe when the phone call comes ki this has happened to all of us. I think at least once we got ki aapka number dijiye warna aapka card block ho jayega. All those money transactions also come in cyber crime, right?
True. In fact, in one of the report, in the last 3 years, it is said that 67% of Indians have become a victim of cybercrime, maybe unknowingly. So that's almost 2/3 of them.
It's true.
Now, when you're talking about the cybercrime, it's very important to note that 3 different type of cybercrimes are potentially there in our country. The first one is the social networking crimes, which is basically through WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, so on and so forth. The second, as what you rightly said, is the banking transactions, where people have become a victim to that. And the third part of it, where people are being duped in the name of that key, you shall get a job, and then instances have been seen that victims are also led to terrorism. So these are the 3 categories where the major cyber crimes are being initiated, at least in our country. But then to tell you about it, especially in terms of the social networking crimes, it's very important for a parent to know that a child below the age of 13 years cannot have a WhatsApp account or cannot have any social networking account for that matter. Specifically, Facebook, Instagram have issued guidelines, and those guidelines are very stringent. So if there is any person who finds that there is a child below the age of 13 years having a Facebook or an Instagram account, that person can report to Facebook, Instagram, and the account shall be deleted. Vis-a-vis, in today's instances, it has been found that children don't listen to their parents because the mobile phone is much it's much close to them than their parents. So under this situation, the parents also can inform to Facebook, inform Instagram, and tell them that this is the account of a child which is below the age of 13 years, and that account shall be deleted, and Facebook or Instagram shall never disclose the identity of the person who gave them this complaint for the account to be deleted or the account to be deactivated. Now that's for the Facebook, that's for the Instagram. If you talk about the WhatsApp, the age for a WhatsApp account also is 16 years and above, but in some of the countries it is 13 years. In India, we don't have a specified guidelines for it. For countries which are the European nations, there it is very strict. There, a child below the age of 16 years cannot have a WhatsApp account. In India, we don't have this policy in place. So if you take it as a gospel truth, 13 years should be the minimum age for a child to have any of the social media account. Now, when the child gets, the child gets to be a victim of cybercrime, it is a responsibility of the parent to ensure that they have this complaint to be registered. I would not say that you have to go to the police station now. I just mentioned to you some time before that the government has now come up with a portal. So the complaint can be registered immediately up over there. So the action could be initiated at a faster pace. Secondly, the parents have to be very cautious nowadays. In fact, most of the time you find that the parents, they are having jobs, and they feel that their responsibility gets over when they hand over a mobile phone to their kid. I would say that the responsibility increases the day when you give a mobile phone to your kid, simply because the kid or the child doesn't know what is right, what is wrong on the internet or on the cyberspace, because the cyberspace is not a well guarded place. We should all remember that the cyberspace is a public network, and because it's a public network, there is no specific jurisdiction, rules or guidelines as to how such type of things can be stopped. So if there is anything to be stopped and to save your child and its future, it is a responsibility of the parent. Part of the responsibility is there on the teacher also. But the child goes to the school, and the teacher also can play a very significant role in ensuring that the child doesn't get into the wrong hands. In fact, I have seen many instances in the past 3 years to go on. Of course, in the last 17 years, I have seen hundreds of instances. But in the last 3 years, I have seen that the instances of a child becoming a victim of cybercrime have increased exponentially.
That may be because of the pandemic, because in pandemic, all the kids started using mobile.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because what has happened is that during the pandemic, the child, some of them were rather forced. Some of them were willingly, of course 80% of them were willingly to be there at home and just glued to their mobile phone, have their online session. But 20% of them were not very savvy. So they also got glued at a later stage. But what I mean to say is that at any given time, if a child is using a mobile phone or a social media account, the parent should be a guardian. The parent should be an angel guardian behind the child to ensure what the child is doing. There are many apps which are now being present. So these apps could be installed in the device of a child, and the mobile phone then can be given to a child, and the parents would then know about the digital statistics, about the whereabouts about the child, what the child is doing on the device, and they can be monitored on a way to get them on the right path. This is for the children's as such. As far as senior citizens are concerned, I have been canvassing this concept right from 2006, that the time will come that in digital world that a crorepati can become roadpati and a roadpati can become crorepati. And that's what has started taking place now. Maybe it has taken about 15-16 years. It's already started taking place now. Citizens, especially senior citizens, are now getting to be victimized, and they are getting victimized of their hard earned money. Retired time, they get some money, and that money they keep it in the banks, and the retired senior citizens are not aware once again of the good cyber hygiene practices. I would like to put on record, we have been talking about Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, which is very important, but I think the time has come now that we should also have Swachh Internet Abhiyan, and these basic information we have to provide to the senior citizens, that what to do and what not to do. Senior citizens sitting at home, they would like to have online transactions to be done because of the situations which are prevailing worldwide. We have still not yet come out of COVID 100%, and they do the transactions sitting at home, but they are unaware of the fact that while doing the transaction sitting at home, they could be victimized. Senior citizens are getting calls, which basically we term in a cyber crime as wishing crimes, and they get a call stating that your card shall be blocked, and if you don't do the KYC of your bank account, your card shall be blocked and you shall not be able to use it. Now they get panic, and once they get panic, they start sharing their details about their KYC, and while they talk across to them, the other person who makes a call to them, he says that you don't have to go to the bank, we will just send you a link. You click on that link, you enter your details, and there it is. In the next couple of minutes, all your KYC shall be done. And the senior citizens, once they get a link on their mobile phone, they click on that link. Once they click on the link, the whole access of their device then goes to the hacker who has sent the link, and then he ensures that the money is completely removed from the account of the citizen's account, senior citizen's account, his hard earned money. So I would foresee that the government should come up with a specific cell exclusively for handling children related crimes and the senior citizen crimes, because they are the two categories which are being affected the most.
Recently, I had read on the paper that some person, he wanted to cancel his railway tickets, and he went on the website and got the, there is that customer care number. Apparently the number was a fraud, and then he instead of getting his money back, he got his all account emptied up. So what you said makes so much sense, that something has to be done to address these specific issues where we don't know how to approach a particular government sector or a bank, or there should be some watch on that.
Yes, absolutely right. In fact, you have been very right on the question what you asked me, is that what people do is that if they want to cancel their ticket, say railway ticket, they Google and they just write on cancel my railway ticket.
Yes.
And they get on their Google search engine, they get some results, 1, 2, 3 links, and they click on the first link, and then they get up a toll-free number, not a toll-free number, they get up a number.
Customer care.
Yeah, the customer care number. And on that customer care number, they click onto it, and then while they click onto it or they make a call, the other person said, yes, it's a customer care number, tell me in what way I can help you out. And the person is unaware of the fact that this call has gone to a criminal or to a hacker, who then takes the input from this person. He disguises and shows that he will help him, but actually he is inducing him to get into the trap of a cyber crime. And rather than getting the money, whatever the money is there in the bank account of that person, it gets to be wiped out. It's a very, very serious questions. In fact, to this extent, we also spoke to Google some time before, and we asked Google that, look, all these type of crimes which have been taking place, somewhere you are a service provider, and because you are a service provider, some responsibility is there on you. Well, they categorically said, look, whatever the information which is there on the search engines, whatever we broadcasted, we take due diligence about it. But at the same time, the citizen also should be aware of it, that they should not fall into such type of a trap. We try our maximum limit to ensure that they should not get victimized, but then it is the user's responsibility also, that 1 or 2% responsibility to ensure that these numbers are being fraud. In some of the states in our country, what has happened is that the police have started taking cognizance of this number. I am sure that in time to come, the Goa police also may take this. These numbers, which are basically the fraudsters' numbers, they are sent to the police, and the police then makes a directory of these numbers, and they give an instruction to the service providers for the numbers to be blocked. I think if you make a directory of such type of false numbers, I am sure that many people will not be calling on these numbers which are fraudsters' number, and they should be protected. Secondly, when any person loses the money, he should be extremely vigilant, that he should call up his bank on the toll-free number and block his debit card, credit card, block his account immediately. Number 2, he can physically go to the bank, or he can just fill up the customer request form online, and he can tell the bank that on this particular day I got a call from such type of a number, and these are the money, this is the money which went from my account. Now the bank has a responsibility to block that account immediately and do an investigation. Vis-a-vis, at the same time, the person who has lost the number or lost the money can also go to the portal cybercrime.gov.in, give that number from where the call came or the call which was been made, and secondly, give the account details where the money was being transferred. If all this has been done within an hour's time, I can assure you at least 70 to 80% of the money which has been lost will be revoked, and it shall be credited into the account of that particular victim after following a due diligence process. So people should be fast. We have we say, God forbid, nobody should have a heart attack, but then we always say that is a golden 1 hour. So if a person takes an immediate care, then he would be saved. Similarly, there is also a golden 1 hour as far as your cybercrime is concerned. So if your complaint is made immediately, then the government through its machinery will communicate with the bank and tell them, block this account. And in that account, if there is money still which is there, that money then shall be credited into the account of the victim, of course following the due diligence process. It may take some time, but chances of getting the money back is much higher.
It's a very important information to know. Like you said, cybercrime.gov.in, right? That's the portal, and 1930 is the helpline number for all these cyber crimes and all these banking transaction frauds and such. So, Dr. there's one more question I wanted to ask you about. A follow-up question on this is, senior citizens, like you said, most of the times they live alone. Now we have that not joint families anymore. So how like they want to talk on WhatsApp, and they have all these forwarded messages, this, that. So they are very much interested and dependent on social media. So they listen to everything that a person impersonating as a bank officer says. So is there anything that can be done, for kids? You said there are apps which can help to safeguard them. Are there apps like that to maybe for senior citizens?
No, actually there is no apps, but I think for the senior citizens as such. But you can have dedicated portals. You can have some, that's of course, it's a policy making decision by the government, and of course the law enforcement has to play a very critical role in this. What could be done is that if there is any person or a subscriber above the age of 60 who is using the digital device, I think on everyday basis at least there should be one SMS should go to that person's mobile phone, giving him or her a tip that how he or she should be protected from this cyber menace. All said and done, I can agree to that fact that 80% of the people don't read it, but it's okay. The government has done his role, played a role, but at least the 20% of the people can be saved from such type of a menace. The other 80%, when they become victims, I am sure that they will prophesize in such a way that the remaining one who are not very much cyber hygiene practices to be followed, slowly or steadily they will start following the best cyber hygiene practices. That's one part which could be done, daily sending them an SMS that how they should be safeguarded from such type of glitches, giving them a case study also that how people get to be victimized. Secondly, I have seen this in senior citizen group. I have one senior citizen group, totally I have got more than 300 groups. Doesn't mean that I look into all the groups at all the time, but there's one group, which is specifically a senior citizen group. I'm the only one who is not a senior citizen in that group. And the average age of that group is 75 and above. I have seen in that group, and I monitor that group very, very aggressively to the fact, because that gives an input to me what is happening at the ground level as far as the senior citizens are concerned. In fact, this group is so volatile. There are only about 16, 17 members. This group is so volatile that anything which comes on WhatsApp, just like a clerk, it starts disseminating very fast.
Yes.
They are not able to understand what is right, what is wrong. So I have to play the role of a moderator. So every second day I give them a little tip saying that if you pass any information on the social media which is fake, you could be responsible for it. The moment I do that, for the next 3 days, the messages of that part get stopped. But once again, it starts. So what I have done now is that I have told them that, look, all this what you are doing now, I will pass this information to the law enforcement agency that you are spreading rumors. It's just not that my intention is that, but my intention is that to ensure that they don't spread such type of rumors. Well, I have seen them that they are not glued at that age. I mean, people are more linked to the spiritual side. But here I find in that group that they are completely glued to their mobile phones. I certainly feel that this age group has to be nurtured because they have a lot of free time with them. Yes. And of course, why not free time? Because they have worked all these years. But then they are the most vulnerable group also.
That's true.
Because if they start spreading such type of rumors, then the youngsters and other people also start believing it. I have some certain senior government officers also in my group who are senior citizens. They also spread some information unintentionally. But when they spread the message in the group, people think that, oh, such a senior officer is sending it, so it may be authentic.
Exactly.
So I have to play a role of moderator over there. I would certainly urge that, especially the youngsters, that if you have any senior citizen in your group, you also should play the role of a moderator and tell them that this is a fake, and probably by using this methodology, we'll be able to save them, secure them.
So it's our responsibility to take care of them, our responsibility to nudge them in the right direction. Dr. D'Costa, we are really thankful that you have taken time to come here and guide us on this very important topic, because as technology goes, the crimes also evolve. So we have to be in with this technology and safeguarding against all these crimes. So thank you very much for your time. हे आशिल्ले डॉक्टर हेरल्ड डिकोस्टा जांच्यांनी आमकां आज खूब भौगोलीक म्हायती दिली सायबर क्रायम आनी सायबर सेफगार्डिंगाच्या सायबर क्रायमाच्या अगेन्स्ट आनी आमी स्वताक कशें शिटूंक जावचें ह्या सायबर क्रायमाच्या अगेन्स्ट ताच्या खातीर. सो आनी अशाच खाशेल्या कार्यावळीं खातीर पळयत रावात गोमंतक TV. देव बरें करूं.